What's up guys, it's me, Jan here, and in today's video I'll be comparing the Peugeot 205 GTI and the Fiat 131 Abarth. And yeah, why am I doing this comparison? Well, the cars are quite similar. I mean, they are both rear-wheel drive, apart from the Peugeot. Both are from the 70s, apart from the Peugeot. Both are from Italy, apart from the Peugeot. And both have been driven by Marco Allen in the World Rally Championship, apart from the Peugeot. So yeah, they are quite different actually. But the reason for this comparison is because they are both in the H2 historic category in Dirt 4, and it has also been requested for a while that I'd make a championship or an event or something with the both H2 classes together, and to be honest, it took me longer to understand that I'd like to admit what Richard was trying to say here by combining the two H2 categories, so I'm sorry for that, for being so stubborn on the situation. But yeah, just as a short test in order to see if those two classes can be competitive, I drove the same stage in Spain with both cars 3 times, and the best run counted. And yeah, it's interesting to see which one is faster, since they are really quite different. I mean, one is from 70s, one from the 90s, one is front wheel drive, one is rear wheel drive, and all that stuff. So yeah, I think that we should begin to see the driving, and yeah, let's begin with the older car, which is the Fiat 131 Abarth. And here we are on the start line with the Fiat 131 Abarth, sometimes dubbed also as the Mirafiori. And across the line we go into the first corner, which was a really downhill braking right-hander, and yeah, there were quite a few accidents there while filming for this video. And yeah, you can see that the 131 Abarth is quite tail happy in this video, and yes, I made a good setup for it finally, and now this car is incredibly satisfying to drive on tarmac, and it is almost constantly slightly sideways, as a proper rear-wheel drive car should, but there are still some weird sensations with the car as well, and I think that's just down to Dirt 4 as a game instead of the setup. So yeah, there's my avoidance of responsibility for the setup being bad. And yeah, this car was used back in the 70s and slightly in the 80s as well, but it made its debut in the 70s, and I'm not sure if this particular version is a Group 4 class regulated car, but if it is, then it's basically the class that later became to be Group B, so it's the sort of main class, and the Peugeot instead is a Group A car, so there's a slight difference between the cars, but for some reason they have been both placed in the H2 category, one in the front wheel drive and one in the rear wheel drive respectively. And yeah, as you saw on that city section, I was using the handbrake because I wanted to A, get this video done, B, forget my purist elitism, and C, I kept crashing a lot in that corner. So yeah, those are the reasons why I'm using handbrake. And here as well, narrow line and a handbrake and across the corner, and yeah, you can see again that the rear end kicks out a bit on the corner exit. And yeah, the car is really good to drive, at least for me on this setup, but after all, it's my setup. And yeah, once again a slow hairpin on second gear, and the final city section for this stage. Really tricky here. I really often went way too deep into the first right-hander and lost a shit ton of time. And here we are, across the line we go, and a bit of a tricky finish there, but nothing out of the ordinary when I'm driving. Next up, the Peugeot. And here we are in the start line, on the start line. What the fuck, who cares? With the Peugeot as promised before, and off the line we get And yeah, this first corner was quite a bit easier with this Peugeot than it was with the 131 Abarth. But I noticed that with these slow, long corners, this car felt way slower, since it took ages before you could get onto the throttle. Since yeah, a rear-wheel drive car on the throttle, it oversteers, but you can manage it with the steering wheel quite well. But a front-wheel drive car, while on throttle and especially on the wheel spin, tends to understeer, and there isn't that much that you can do with that apart from lifting off a bit. So yeah, it felt a bit slow compared to the Fiat in the slower sections, but then again on these faster sections this car felt a lot faster, and also the car felt more more stable than the 131 Abarth. And yeah, if only this car wouldn't have the right-hand drive, it would be the only car that I'd drive in the game ever. It's a really fun, small little car to drive that you can really throw around the corners. Obviously not doing that here as much since it would cost me time, but here was a bit of a hairy moment with the cars hopping onto the curb a bit, but I was able to manage it, and then even put on a bit of a show for the viewers there with that two-wheel action. Probably could have broken something from the front left in real life, but yeah, video games. Yeah, especially here in this fast section, I felt that this car was really good and stable and a bit better altogether than the Fiat, but then these slower sections were really poison for it, since the acceleration isn't maybe the best, since this car lacks a bit of power compared to the Fiat, if I remember correctly. But yeah, nice little car, and to make it even better, both Colin McRae and Richard Burns have driven these in their earlier parts of their career. So yeah, a really proper historic car. And yeah, didn't even clip the building on the left, even though the right-hand drive was a bit difficult to get used to. But across the line we go, and again a bit of a hairy situation on the finish, but we made it through. And now let's compare the times. And those were the runs. Now if only I knew how to add drum roll into this would make for a lot greater spectacle. But the winner is Fiat, and the times will be visible on the screen now. And yeah, you can see that the Fiat was somewhat 2 seconds, 3 seconds faster, closer to 2 seconds faster than the Peugeot. So not much, but the stage wasn't that long either. But as I said before, probably if there were only faster sections, then the Peugeot would have been faster than the Fiat. That's my personal viewpoint on this matter. But now to see where the difference actually came from, and to see if I'm just talking out of my ass, let's see this runs side by side. On the start line now with both of the cars, and Fiat on the left, Peugeot on the right. And just if you're not familiar enough with the cars, and the Fiat takes slightly a faster exit out of the start, and is already slightly ahead. And yeah, seems like that is actually quite a bit faster in these slower sections compared to the Peugeot, but at least for judging from the few slow corners in the beginning. And those fast flat out right-handers and left-handers are still something that makes the cars somewhat equally good, or that the cars perform equally good in those. But then again, a slow corner, proper poison for this car on the right. And yeah, you can see that it is like a second or so behind, maybe a bit more. But yeah, you can see that I'm not braking for this until now on the Peugeot, even though I was braking for it on the Fiat earlier. So yeah, this car, I mean the Peugeot, made me feel a lot more like confident going into the corners and knowing that I can make it stop, and gave me a bit more confidence to push the braking points just a teeny tiny bit further than with the Fiat. I felt that I just make it somewhat earlier, and that there wasn't that sort of a trust for the machinery with Fiat as much as there was with Peugeot. And yeah, the Peugeot has maybe slightly catched up, but then again, these slow sections, oh my god, they basically kill the competitive edge of this car. And especially through that left-hander, the Peugeot was a bit more stable. And yeah, here as well, you can see that the rear end tends to step out a bit on the Fiat compared to the Peugeot. And yeah, there's like probably 2 seconds of difference now. And yeah, one car oversteers, one understeers exiting from that hairpin. So yeah, not a natural sort of exit for either of the cars. But yeah, the Fiat is already clearly ahead. But what surprises me is that the Fiat has been slowly but steadily making the difference bigger. It hasn't been like 1 or 2 clear places where it has been faster than Peugeot. So yeah, that's a bit surprising. But yeah, here we can see 2 to 3 second gap. Pow. And we are through. And those were the runs. Yeah, the Fiat is slightly faster altogether, apparently, instead of just the slower sections. But yeah, I think that main reason is still the slower sections. I'm a bit stubborn on this as well. But yeah, let me know in the comments if you'd like to see a combination of H2 categories for the next season of AVR.4 Club. And yeah, I think that those categories can be matched somewhat equally throughout this season, and so there's points in taking both of them, or car from either category. But yeah, that's all for now. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys again on I don't know when, but I'll see you guys again. And yeah, have a good Easter, eat a shit ton of chocolate, that's what I'll be doing. And oh yeah, the setups for the cars are linked in the description, so if you're needing a good Spain setup for either of the cars, check the description. I've shared my setups for these cars there. But now it's time to say goodbye, so thanks for watching, see you guys soon, bye bye.